Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing my first project pan update of 2025. If you did not watch the original video, I started a project pan right towards the end of 2024. I wanted to do it as part of just like broader decluttering, simple living, trying to spend less money. I'm currently doing a low spend month in January, so it just seemed like a good time to do a project pan. So I think I did that in November-ish, and so now it's been about 2 months. I feel like for me, that's probably a good cadence to do these project pan updates. I don't wear a ton of makeup. I don't use a ton of hair product. I work fully remotely, so in my day-to-day, it's like there are often days in the week where I'm not really using any product at all except for like sunscreen and skincare. So I just don't use things up that quickly. Project pans are really humbling in this way because I think we all forget just how long it takes to use things up. I kid you not, I have tiny little tubes of skincare product that took me the last 2 months to finish. I was like, what is going on? How is this tube still here? And I feel like makeup is very similar, especially with more pigmented stuff. Like I have some very pigmented blushes that I feel like I was using multiple times a week. Haven't even made a dent. Have not even made one single dent. But with that being said, I'm excited to show you where I have made some progress. I'm going to show you really quickly the products that I haven't even started to touch at all. And then I will move on to my work in progress items, the things that I actually have been working on over the last 2 months that I am actively trying to pan. And then at the end of the video, we will move on to the very small number of items that I actually was able to pan, finish up, and get rid of. So with that, let's talk really quickly about the things that I haven't started to actively touch at all. And for most of these, it's just because I have product that's already currently open that I'm working through. So hair gel, I already have an open hair gel that I'm working through. Cleanser, I already have some that I'm working through. And then this is actually where I was hoping to get some advice from you all. I have not touched my nail polish. Now that's not too surprising. If you watch my videos, you've probably noticed that I never have my nails done. I pretty much always have them trimmed and clean. That's because I play guitar, so I already have to keep my left hand trimmed super close, and then I actually grow these fingernails longer. I feel like with playing nail polish chips, my nails are uneven. It is what it is. And especially in the dead of winter in Canada, I'm not really in a pedicure mindset either. I'm not really feeling that vibe of painting my toenails because literally no one, myself included, will ever see them. I'm always wearing winter boots and fuzzy socks. So it has just been hard to motivate to use these. But I will say I did try to use this around Christmas, but it is just so goopy. And I've tried thinning it with acetone. Didn't make any progress. If you have any recommendations on how I can salvage this, please let me know. I'd love to get 1 or 2 more uses out of it before I throw it. I think it is almost done. It is a nail polish that I have used quite a bit. I think these ones are fine. Yeah, these ones have much better consistency. So yeah, I might just try to paint my toenails at some point, or maybe just paint them anyway, even though they're uneven. But these are largely all of the products that I just haven't touched at all and haven't made any progress with. Now let's move on to phase 2, the work in progress items. So I have quite a few things that I actually have been working through in the last couple months, but it's very slow going with a lot of items. So first up, we have this R&Co motorcycle gel. I love R&Co. They're some of my favorite hair products. This I had already made some good progress with, so it was on its way, but I just wanted a little extra push to actually be using it up. I primarily use this when I wear my hair curly, which is not every day, and I only wash my hair every few days, so it doesn't get a ton of use, but I did make a little bit of progress. I took this from 96 grams to 89 grams, so there's definitely been some use, and I can feel it getting lighter. Next up, we have this exfoliate. I love this product, but exfoliants you don't use that often. You're not supposed to use them that often because they can be bad for your skin barrier. I have probably used it about 3 or 4 times since the project started, which I think is a pretty reasonable cadence for an exfoliant, and I don't want to just be using products for the sake of using them. I do still want to make sure I'm using them appropriately and getting enjoyment out of them. So this I took from 65 grams down to 62 grams, which is still crazy to see how little progress you make even when you are using something regularly. Next up, we have this Tula sunscreen. I just don't use dedicated sunscreen products all that much, especially not in winter. I wear the Dermatology tinted moisturizer most days. I just haven't made a ton of progress with this. Took it from 39 grams to 38 grams only. I will have to keep an eye on this because I think it is going to expire soon. So I do want to use it up. It's just the dead of winter here. I don't know what else to say. All right, next up we have cuticle pharmaceutical oil. Products like this are so humbling because I have been using this regularly since the start of the project. I have probably been using this 3 or 4 times a week because our winters here in Toronto are very dry. So I've been using a ton of oils, hand creams, lotions, and even with that, I've only taken this from 40 grams to 39 grams. So I will continue to use this actively over the next couple months, and I'm excited to see if I can make a little bit more progress on this before the next update. These blushes, I don't even know if it's worth giving much of an update on. This one has actually gone up in weight, I think because I was using it to help me apply this pigment. I was pouring this into the pan to help me dab and apply it. So I think that's why this actually went up in weight from 25 grams to 26 grams. I had already hit pan on this previously, but I just want to keep panning it and keep working through it. And this one is more of a bronzer blush, and I have been using it here and there, but just not consistently enough to make any progress. So this has stayed the same weight. And similarly for all of these, one is a foundation, one is a blush, one is a bronzer. I have been making an active effort to use these from time to time. I've actually been using the bronzer as a color corrector. I've been using this blush multiple times a week. I have been trying to use it as my main blush in the winter, but it's just so pigmented that even this tiny amount, I just can't seem to make a dent. And this foundation I have used a couple times. It actually is very close to a perfect match, particularly in the winter. I just don't like wearing foundation that much. I really like lighter coverage. Right now I'm just wearing a tinted moisturizer, and that's what makes me happy and that's what makes me feel better most days. So I just haven't really had a need to use this up, but I feel like this is one that I can actually make progress on because foundation you're gonna go through quicker than a blush or a bronzer. So I really do kind of want to try to use this up. This one I only just started using. It had actually never been opened when I started the project pan, so I wasn't expecting to make a ton of progress with this one, but I have taken it from 208 grams to 200 grams. I'm using it mainly as a heat protectant. Then we have this Youth to the People moisture cream. Again, I really only used this one time starting last week. I've been trying to work my way through my existing moisturizers, but I wanted to give this a try and I really like it. It's very silky, very light coverage. It doesn't feel like a heavy moisturizer. This was a gift I got as part of my Sephora birthday gift. So it was just a little sample size, and now that I've tried it and really liked it, I think I'm going to make more of an effort to actively be panning this over the next couple months. But the change in weight was super insignificant this time around. It went from 71 to 70 grams. Then we have this body butter, which smells absolutely amazing. But I was saying in my first video that because it smells so nice and it feels so decadent and luxurious, I use it so rarely. I have been making more of an active effort to use it up, so I've made a lot of progress with this. And it has gone from 201 grams to 116 grams. I feel like lotions, creams, body washes are really nice because you can actually make some progress, and this is where we are in the jar. So we still have a ways to go. That is because I do still have some of those just really big bottles of Vaseline and Jergens and things like that. So that is what I use as my day-to-day moisturizer in the winter a lot of the time. But I have been making an effort to use this more often, and I think I will be able to pan it in the next update. And then finally, we have this Versed Retinol Serum, which I only started using a couple weeks ago, so I haven't made a ton of progress, but this is a product that I use at night a few times a week, so I feel like I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly. I feel like this will be panned by the next update. But for now, it went from 53 grams to 50 grams. Those were the work in progress items that I included in my first video. I did have a couple honorable mentions that I wanted to include and add to the project. I don't know why I didn't include them in the first video. I think just because we all have so many products, it's hard to keep track. But I have this lip stain. I have actually been using this pretty consistently, and as you can see, it's almost done. Like, we're getting down to the bottom of the tube. I have just been using this with a lip gloss over top, so I really want to work on finishing this up and actively panning it before the next update. The other one I'm adding is this vitamin E cream. I think I bought this originally for a burn that I had, and I was using it on the burn to help with healing and to help reduce scarring. I don't know how effective these types of products even are, but I've just been using it here and there to give my hands extra hydration in the winter because it's so dry. And we're almost at pan on this. Like, we're actually getting pretty close to the bottom. So I feel like if I just keep using it that way, then I will be able to pan this by the next update. All right, we are moving on to phase 3 of the video, things that I actually did finish, things that I have been able to pan and throw out. First up, I have been trying to make more of an effort to use up things like eye masks, face masks, trial size, sample size things. So I used these Dr. Barbara Sturm Glow Drops. These were really nice, actually. It did make my skin very glowy, very dewy, very nice. So great product. I don't know that I would actually buy it because I'm trying to not buy things and I'm trying to use up all the other skincare I have, but it was really nice. I enjoyed it. Then I used a Grace and Stella eye mask. This was great because it was an individual packet, so there was only one pair of eye masks in there. Then these were gel nail strips that I used around the holidays. They were Christmas themed and I had these from a couple years ago, so I just wanted to use up the rest of the pack. It only lasted for a few days. I think the adhesive at this point was kind of like wearing out, so they didn't last that long. They started to chip and come off pretty quickly, but I got used out of them and now I can just toss this. Something else I used was this Petty in a Box. I really love these to treat yourself once in a while. It's a really nice way of actually feeling like you're getting an at-home pedicure, and I have one of those little pedicure tubs to soak my feet. So I did that, used some Epsom salts, used all the 4 steps in here, and it was really nice and a nice way of treating yourself in the winter. If you live in a dry winter climate, you know how bad feet get in the winter. So this is like a nice way of rejuvenating them a little bit. And then I was able to completely use up this L'Oreal Revitalift eye cream. This took me longer than I was expecting. I think again, with tubes like this, you think it's gonna go quick, and then every day I would still somehow be pushing more product out. But it is finally done. I'm squeezing. There's nothing left. I really wrung it dry, so that's good. I can feel good about tossing this now. And then I wanted to give some honorable mentions to some things that weren't technically in the project, but I think it's good to celebrate all wins. And I think it's still good to celebrate along the way when you're actually using up product, because I think it's very affirming. It shows you that you're buying the correct things. So for example, like I used up this tube of hand cream, and I also finished up this Timeless Vitamin C. And especially for products like this that oxidize quickly, that expire quickly, really good to celebrate the wins. And this is a product I will continue to use. I'm just trying to prioritize using up some other skincare items first. But it's just nice to know, hey, okay, you are actually using things up. You are buying things with intention. You are buying things that you actually intend to use, and then you do in fact use them. I feel like you need a little bit of that in a project pan because some of these products are going to take a really long time to pan. And I just needed to feel a small win of being like, okay, at least I am using up some of the other things I regularly buy. So with that, that is the first update from my project pan. I will make sure to link to the original video below as well. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch. And if you want to see content about my low buy and also how I'm cutting costs in other areas like cutting down my subscriptions, I will link a bunch of those videos below, and hit subscribe if you want to follow along for all of the updates in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.